the film 2008 Quantum of Solace special, where even James Bond has no secrets. Coming up, questions and answers with 007's evil adversary.
Since Casino Royale, it's like if the bad and the good was inside James Bond himself.
Revealing the look and the sound that define the 21st century Bond.
That theme somehow tells you that he's going to win.
The insider's view on the challenges facing this would-be blockbuster.
If you saw a few hundred million dropping off, that would be a serious issue.
Come on in.
A mission behind the scenes as the super spy's latest adventure takes shape, and an interrogation session for the man himself, Daniel Craig. You have any regrets about signing on to do Bond?
No, none at all.
2 years ago, the world of James Bond was radically reinterpreted in Casino Royale, and with truly spectacular results. The film went on to earn box office receipts of almost $600 million, plus a level of global acclaim which stretched to a whole clutch of awards, and a BAFTA nomination for Best British Film, which, let's face it, never happened to Octopussy. Of course, that kind of hugely enthusiastic critical and commercial response to Daniel Craig's first appearance as Bond has created some significant consequences, because the bar's been set oh so high for his return to the role in Quantum of Solace, when it opens everywhere across the country this week. So before turning to the key matters of the moment, what's it about and is it any good, it's worth asking just how will the success or otherwise of the project which started life as Bond 22 be judged? Film 2008 sought some answers from people who, for a variety of reasons, are well placed to provide them.
Your file shows no kills, Bond. But to become a 00, it takes 2. How did you die? Your contact? Not well. You needn't worry. The second is... Yes. Considerably.
Casino Royale was exceptionally good for us. I think it sort of rebooted the Bond franchise. It established Daniel as the Bond, the definitive Bond, and the public really liked it.
It doesn't bother you killing those people?
Well, I wouldn't be very good at my job if it did.
The challenge is now to live up to that expectation.
When it comes to making major action films, 007's numbers really stack up. But when this huge production rolled into action at the beginning of the year, the filmmakers knew the stakes had rarely been higher. Failure at the box office just isn't an option.
It would be very disappointing if the second part of the franchise collapsed. If you saw a few hundred million dropping off, that would be a serious issue. First of all, you'd wonder about Daniel Craig's involvement. The second thing, this is very important to the British film industry. You know, this has been shot at considerable expense in Britain.
Well, I think when we started to make Bond 22, as it was known, we didn't have a title or anything. We didn't know quite what we were going to do. We just knew we had this new style, we had the new Bond. And early in the process, we decided that we would actually make it a sequel. It takes place 1 hour after Casino Royale ended.
Casino Royale needed to be incredible in order to resurrect and rebuild this brand. This one just needs to be really good and follow on. You would expect the second part of a reinvented franchise, as has happened in say, Batman, to do better.
But the business brains behind Bond know that even with the popularity of Casino Royale to build on, Quantum of Solace has to hit big at the box office if it's going to recoup its multi-million-dollar production budget, as well as the bill for a vast, intensive and costly marketing drive.
Yes, it's been a large budget, probably larger than we wanted it to be.
The last Bond was the biggest opening weekend Bond, and that was something like £13 million. I think they'll be hoping for that again, and fingers crossed for more. To some extent, it is a front-loaded movie because of the advanced ticket sales, and the fan base is very, very loyal and very passionate, so they're likely to want to be the people who go out and have seen it on the opening weekend. But as much as the filmmakers and the studios will be looking at those opening weekend numbers, they'll be poring over the second weekend drop-off as well.
The last film did $594 million worldwide, which is a very impressive performance, and I don't think it's unreasonable to expect it to match those kind of figures. So you're talking about $500 million, maybe above $600 million this time, maybe up towards $700 million, but there's a benchmark there above $500 million where you can tell it's done fairly well.
Of course, Eon, the production company behind Bond, has always appreciated the value of its prize asset.
What Eon has managed to understand is that Bond, like all franchises, is first and foremost a brand. Now, they've understood that you've got to have a fantastic film at the centre of that, but if you see it as a brand with global recognition, alongside the likes of Coca-Cola or some of the big sports clubs like Manchester United, then you begin to see how you can build around that brand to make different money. I mean, that's where Eon has really been ahead of the game. What's great about Bond is that if you could reinvent it for each successive generation, all you're keeping is a core sense of a character that people can tie into. And I don't see any reason why that's not going to be reinvented by successive generations.
Well, I think we have to take it one film at a time. It's very difficult to plan way ahead in any film series. And I think we just take it one film at a time.
And look out for producer Michael G. Wilson making his now traditional cameo appearance in Quantum of Solace, which, as he suggested, kicks off with barely a pause to refuel the Aston after the closing scene of Casino Royale. So a summary of the story so far seems like a good idea. In his efforts to foil an unscrupulous financier who was backing international terrorism, the newly licensed to kill James Bond was joined by Treasury officer Vesper Lynd. They fell in love, but it emerged that she was being manipulated by a sinister organisation which had a hold over her, leading to her apparent betrayal of 007 and her own death. As the film ended, Bond had caught up with one member of this organisation, and as Quantum of Solace begins, several of its other members are trying to catch up with him. There goes the no claims bonus then, again. Yes, our favourite sharp-suited, sharp-shooting, hard-drinking secret agent is back. With Quantum of Solace picking up right where Casino Royale left off, it's no surprise that Bond is still coming to terms with what he sees as the treachery of Vesper, the woman he loved. But clearly, James is the crying on the inside kind of spy.
I need to know that I can trust you.
And you don't?
Well, it'd be a pretty cold bastard who didn't want revenge for the death of someone he loved.
You don't have to worry about me. I'm not going to go chasing him. He's not important. And neither was she.
The misconception is that he's after revenge, and in fact he's not. He's after his Quantum of Solace, which is sort of his peace of mind, to know where he's at in the world and to know who his friends are, know who his allies are. So by the end of the movie, he's figured that out, and he's done it by being single-minded. Everybody else thinks he's a loose cannon and that he's gone off track and that he's just sort of behaving emotionally, and in fact he's not. He's getting himself into the right place.
He basically, after he lost the love of his life, he's in a very painful state, and he's sort of looking for who was responsible for it. And at the same time, that kind of character is interesting to work with because he's also, you have the opportunity that he sort of faces a lot of his own demons, which I thought was fascinating.
Despite his mental state, Bond is soon trotting up the air miles in hot pursuit of his latest lead, a shadowy millionaire called Dominic Green, who's covertly buying up stretches of South America. But when the villain stages a secret meeting in a deceptively public place, the ever-resourceful Mr. Bond manages to eavesdrop.
Transfer the funds from our Siberian holdings.
Done.
What do the Americans do?
Well, the CIA doesn't care about another dictator as long as they get their hand.
But when they find out that they've been duped,
I'm working on that.
I'm still not sure that the Tierra project is the best use of Quantum's time.
Perhaps we should shift our focus to the Canadian.
This is the world's most precious resource. We need to control as much of it as we can. Bolivia must be top priority.
Can I offer an opinion? I really think you people should find a better place to meet.
I wanted Mr. Green to humanize the Bond villains because I think it has changed. It used to be very clear-cut in the early days that they were during the Cold War who were the villains and who were the good guys, and now it's sort of overlaps that Bond and the villain are much closer and overlapping one another than ever before.
So 007's quarry's been flushed out into the open, but no Bond film, reinvented or not, is complete without a lovely lady to keep our James occupied. Enter Camille, an associate of Green's who, like Bond, has vengeance in mind.
Have you ever killed someone? Your training will tell you that when the adrenaline kicks in, you should compensate. But part of you's not going to believe the training because this kill is personal. Take a deep breath. You only need one shot. Make it count.
she's very independent from James, because she has her own story and her own mission, and she doesn't really need Bond's help in this film.
So after the huge success of Bond's rebirth in Casino Royale, did anyone fear the dreaded difficult second movie syndrome?
There was no point in making a rehash of Casino Royale. It would have just been a waste of everybody's money and everybody's time. So we went out to make something that was stylistically very different, and the mood of it was very different, but to set it within the Bond parameters and make it a Bond movie, and a Bond movie that sort of will stand up. And they both stand up, I think, beautifully with each other, but also separately.
So 007 is back, and he may be hurting, but he's also fighting, shooting, and kissing. In fact, everything you'd expect of Her Majesty's most famous Secret Service man. 2 years ago, Casino Royale knocked both seasoned Bond fans and skeptics back on their heels. This was the best Bond film since Goldfinger, a stunningly brave, stunningly successful redefinition of the character and the franchise. So, does Quantum of Solace register the same kind of impact? Of course not, simply because we now know what to expect. And as our expectations are very high, the opening of this film is not only thrilling, but also curiously reassuring. Straight from the off, we're right back at the heart of the story, with one of the most relentless and gripping pre-title sequences in Bond history, topped off with just a dash of laconic humour. By this point, we've already been reminded of the terse, brutal efficiency of Daniel Craig's Bond, one of the key characteristics of this brilliant interpretation of the role. Of course, we learn about some of the other crucial aspects of 007's personality through his dealings with two characters essential to every film in the series. The first being the leading lady, and Olga Kurylenko is a splendidly original variation on the Bond girl theme. Mysterious, driven, highly capable, yet also vulnerable. The second is the villain, and Matija Amalric absolutely drips menace when the mask of the respectable tycoon slips. However, it seems to me that in rooting the film in the international politics and economics of today, the line between the good guys and the bad guys becomes too fuzzy. The shadowy organisation Bond is confronting seems to be 30% Spectre and 70% common or garden ruthless multinational. And if the balance had been shifted the other way, I might have been even more pumped up in the typically explosive final reel. As it is, Quantum of Solace is a fast, lean, almost literally action-packed film with several impressively daring touches which will bear repeated viewing. So I'm looking forward to seeing it again, and with it, the continued evolution of Commander James Bond via a series of telling, even touching relationships with his allies and memorably violent confrontations with his enemies. How times change. In my youth, a typical crazed mastermind in a Bond movie would want to destroy the world and start a new civilization under the sea. Essential attributes included a bizarre name, a world-class sneer, and just occasionally a third nipple. In the world inhabited by Daniel Craig's Bond, however, the bad guys aren't so easy to spot, even with their shirts off. And while the villain of the piece in Quantum of Solace certainly has the sneer, he also bears a reassuringly everyday name in Dominic Green. So there was every chance of being lulled into a false sense of security when I met Mr. Green's alter ego, Matija Amalric, on set at Pinewood, an encounter coming up after this revelation of what this dubious character has up his sleeve.
And I have a pest.
You have any idea who that is? Sorry. It's James Bond, British Secret Service. I don't know how I could have missed that.
I will need you to get rid of him for me.
Yeah. That's not gonna be a problem.
Matija, how nice to meet you. Thank you very much for spending some time with us.
Yes.
Tell me about your role in the Bond movie. You are, of course, the villain, and I think the best Bond movies have the best villains.
Yeah. It's like a house. If both sides don't. If one falls, the film collapses. Yeah,
you need Bond and you need the bad guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's quite a responsibility then.
Yes, but in the same time now, since Casino Royale, it's like if the bad and the good was inside James Bond himself, no? So everything is more ambiguous, like the days we are living, in fact.
Yeah.
Who is the villain today? It's quite hard to guess.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's maybe even more dangerous because you can't guess who they are.
I guess in that respect then, your character, there's no kind of physical sign on the outside. Often the Bond villains used to have a disability of some sort or a difference.
You wish to put the evil eye on me, huh?
This is the part I like best.
You have nothing?
I tried to. I was so afraid. I would have loved to have something.
A limp?
Something, yeah, a limp, scars, get bald, I don't know.
Nothing?
Nothing. Yeah. Mark told me, no, your eyes are enough.
In the Bond movies of the 60s, 007's enemies could never be criticised for lacking ambition. In Thunderball, Spectre held the Western world to ransom, and in Goldfinger, the man with the Midas touch, a spider's touch, planned to nuke America's gold reserves once he'd finished making Bond half the man he was.
Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Today's Bond villain may be just as ruthless, but his schemes are rather more subtle. What kind of scheme is your character?
Well, that you will see, but it's hidden. It's the ultimate weapon is maybe just a smile, you know. You don't know who has the power. You don't know where it is anymore, and that's what's going to be very hard for Bond because he has to find what this guy is doing.
We've kind of got used to seeing it as a black and white situation, and now I guess you're going.
Yeah, there was the Cold War. It was. Now, and they were smart enough not to say the villain are Al-Qaeda. That would have been not a surprise for the audience, I think.
Do you get into a physical confrontation with Bond as your character? So you have fight scenes as well?
We're going to shoot it in 1 week and a half now. I'm really ready. I rehearsed a lot with the stunts. I love that.
Memorable fight scenes, such as the unforgettable close-quarter confrontation with trained killer Red Grant in From Russia With Love, have been an integral ingredient of the Bond cocktail from the early days of the series. But a new kind of villain demands applying some fresh thought to the violence and mayhem.
We're trying to do a fight where the villain doesn't know how to fight. So it's hard for Bond to read what he's going to do. Yeah. Usually he fights professionals, so he knows everything. But with a guy that is just getting crazy, it's very, difficult to stop.
With Ava Green in the last film and you in this one, there's a fairly high French presence.
Yes. At the same time, is Dominic Green French? It's not really said. It's not important. He can be Swiss, for instance. For me, he's Swiss. That's my background that I invented myself. But it's not said. It's just a joke for me, you know, because Mark is Swiss. And
I'll be between you and me. I don't trust the Swiss either.
You should.
Oh.
They know how to keep a secret.
Mathieu, lovely to meet you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Name check, Dominic Green.
He's a person of extreme interest.
We've already begun destabilizing the government.
You know who Green is and you want to put us in bed with him?
Yeah, you're right. We should just deal with nice people.
Think James Bond and you immediately think of the stirring theme music, dry martinis and the secret agent himself attired in a DJ and black tie. But the sights and sounds which define 007 are continually evolving and more dramatically than ever since Daniel Craig was awarded his licence to kill. To explore their concepts for Quantum of Solace, we met with costume designer Louise Frogley and composer and all-round Bond aficionado David Arnold. So for your eyes and ears only, here's an insight into some of the creative decisions which have helped make James Bond the man he is today.
What defines Bond? It's those aggressive trumpet stabs, that slightly jazzy drum sound. It's a soaring string line. It's rich, lustrous trombone and French horn chords. It's that evil, dark, twangy guitar. You know, all of those things, I think, would suggest, you know, the sound of James Bond. That theme, I think, somehow tells you that he is going to be victorious, you know, that he's going to win. If you play it in a scene where he's in any real danger, it kind of dissolves any tension because you're just waiting for him to get out of it. The reason why we didn't do it on Casino Royale, obviously, is because he hadn't earned it at that point. You know, he hadn't become James Bond that had earned and deserved that music.
Bond may still be working to earn his theme, but he's certainly working it in his suit.
When is the next flight to London?
Tomorrow morning.
Well, then we have all night.
I was very anxious that we would have a really strong look for Daniel, because I wanted to do those sort of 60s mohair tonic suits with quite tight waists and big long vents at the back and straight trousers. I wanted it to be quite a tight silhouette.
Quantum of Solace is somehow more direct, you know, it's less concerned with the trappings at the side, you know, it's less concerned with detail, and his eye is always on where am I going and what do I have to do, what's the job, and everything else is kind of contained, and then occasionally it will explode. And so the music definitely follows the contours of the character, but I think, you know, the success of the character in this film and the last one is largely down to Daniel's performance.
And with a leaner sound comes a leaner, more streamlined 007.
This time round, his trainer trained him slightly differently so that they knew the limits of what would look great being muscular but not throw a suit out. If you throw it out, if you've got too many muscles, you'll have the shoulders and then bulgy bits here, which in order to correct them, you have to make the shoulders wider and then you look ludicrous. So, I mean, they kind of trained his body to be brilliant for a suit. You know, it took us forever to get exactly the right white shirt. And when you look at it, it'll look very simple, but to get there, it's sort of 3 or 4 different collar looks. You know, we're just testing until you get it absolutely right. The right buttons, the right fabric, the right cuffs, all of that. I would hate to dress an actor and impose the stuff from outside. It's got to come from inside of them. If somebody doesn't like their clothes, you can tell in a second, because even if you force them to wear them, they'll sort of... But Daniel gets it. He really does.
I've made deliberate attempts to move it forward in certain places and to be quite retro about it in others. And I think you can accept the moving forward bit if you have this kind of safety net of you know, this sounds like perhaps it used to, therefore the next part, which doesn't sound like it used to at all, somehow you're kind of more readily prepared for something else to happen.
Get down!
When you're writing music for a film, you look for the truth in everything, and if it's not true, it's fraudulent, and people can tell when it's fraudulent. And when you write music, people can tell when it's fake and when it's fraudulent. And so all of a sudden I find myself looking at a film that I believe and I believe in, and I believe that that character exists, and that just made it that much easier.
Friend of yours?
I don't have any friends.
We didn't settle on the price.
Make me an offer.
We can work it out later. Over drinks. Dominic didn't give you any trouble, did he?
No.
What the hell is this?
I think someone wants to kill you.
Principal photography on Quantum of Solace began on the 7th of January this year, and with this autumn's worldwide release and immovable deadline, the cast and crew didn't have time to dawdle on a shoot which took them to 6 different countries, more than any other in the history of the Bond movies. However, substantial elements of the film were shot at 007's home from home, Pinewood Studios in Buckinghamshire, and it was there that I joined director Mark Forster, whose distinguished and diverse CV includes Monsters Ball, Finding Neverland and The Kite Runner, along with his cast and crew as they tackled the job in hand. Mark, lovely to meet you here. This is it's exciting for me to be down on the Bond set. Now, you've had a very varied and successful CV as a director, but nothing that immediately screams Bond movies to me. So many might have thought you were an unusual choice. How did you feel when they approached you?
I thought they got the wrong director first. I was sitting there and said, are you sure I'm the right director for this? But the thing is, I always was a Bond fan. I loved the early Bond especially. And, I thought I like to jump from genre to genre. So it was really, I thought, another chapter in my sort of as a filmmaker and another challenge to do something I haven't done before.
Eon Productions are quite well known for keeping the same people with them movie after movie. They have a team they trust and designers and so on. How is it for you being the newcomer in their group?
You know, it was really good. You know, one of the reasons I wanted to do a film is because I met with Barbara Broccoli and Michael Wilson, and they allowed me to bring some of my own people and change some of the people that have worked in the past, which was really important to me because I have my little family I bring along, and they wanted sort of a different vision and expanded the vision from Casino Royale.
One member of the Forster family climbing aboard the good ship Bond is Oscar-winning production designer Dennis Gassner.
Come on in. So we're inside the Ladunas set that obviously has been exploded, and it was designed to explode and motivate our James Bond character to this section.
At the moment we're doing the final sequence, which is the destruction of the villain's lair, if you like. In all the walls are these fuel cells, and they start this chain reaction of explosions all the time while Bond and Camille and the villain are having their little fights.
Well, today is one of the last scenes of the movie, and it's a big fight, basically. We're all in fights. We've been training for a long time for this fight. You know, we're fighting for real. These are fake, but I'm not going to show you the ones that are real.
They sort of play up to it, but they love it, sort of thing, you know. After we say cut, the enjoyment on their face, knowing that they was in there. You know, the training is hard, and it can sort of wear you down, sort of thing. But you know, we both, you know, or they both know what they sort of let themselves in for, you know.
I had no idea what was waiting for me. They told me we're going to train you. I thought, oh, okay, you know, I'll do a few exercises, but that's not what they meant. They actually really meant it. You know, because usually people exaggerate when they tell you something like that, but this was, they didn't exaggerate at all.
Daniel always jokes about it, sort of things like, you know, why am I doing this and not the stunt double? But he actually really does enjoy doing it.
You had to do it, it was 45 feet in the air. It was probably 16 feet dropping, 8 into a balcony. He's not terribly comfortable with heights, I don't think, and so my admiration for him only increases. Delivering a good product, I think, is really important for him, sort of his duty to his fans.
I think on Bond films, they want to try and do as much as they can for real, and they always dream up, different challenges.
These 7 brand spanking Aston Martins.
Car chases and boat chases.
This is going to be so much fun.
A really nice sequence in a DC-3.
We've done our utmost to smash the out of them.
And big explosions.
Give them a pile of spare parts. Yeah, thank you very much.
Nearing the end now, it must be quite nice to see the end in sight. Confident, happy with what you've achieved?
I'm very happy with the movie so far, and I hope people will love it, and I hope they will, like it as much as Casino Royale, or more, hopefully, who knows. But I think it's just, basically, I feel very good about the dailies when I watch it. I think that the character moved on, and I think it will be an exciting film. One
final thing, there's still time for you to change the title, of course. Thunder Pussy is what I've been suggesting to people. Any interest in taking up on that?
That's the thing. I think Thunder Pussy definitely has a ring to it.
Yes.
And,
but at least people know what it means.
But you don't think like Quantum of Solace, people suddenly.
I'm worried that you're going to get an art crowd turning up. That's all.
But you should watch the trailer and you feel like, oh, Quantum of Solace. It doesn't sound so arty anymore.
I know it will make sense to me once I see it.
Yes.
How lovely to spend time with you. Thank you, Mark. Good luck with the movie.
Thank you, Johnson.
Can't
Good
wait to see
you.
it.
All right.
You.
Bye-bye.
I heard a rumor he'd gone native.
Felix, ¿qué quieres?
No sé de eso, por favor. I was just wondering what South America would look like if nobody gave a damn about cocoa communism. It's always impressed me the way you boys have carved this place up.
I'll take that as a compliment coming from a Brit.
Are you sure you're playing with the right side?
Regimes change once a week down here. And then I'll be no dirtier than the next guy.
Oh, you see, that's what I like about U.S. intelligence. You'll lie down with anybody.
Including you, brother. Including you.
And what of the main man himself? When you're James Bond, everyone wants to talk to you. Your anxious boss, implausibly attractive women, and of course the kind of villains for whom sadism isn't so much a character flaw as a lifestyle choice. Happily though, a break in filming meant that I was able to share a little quality time on set with Mr. Daniel Craig, the definitive Bond for our times.
I need a passport and matching credit card.
And MI6 ran out of plastic.
Well, oddly, right now, you're the only person I think I can trust.
That is odd. But I guess when one's young, it seems very easy to distinguish between right and wrong. But as one gets older, it becomes more difficult. The villains and the heroes get all mixed up. I was sorry to hear about Vesper. I think she loved you.
Right up until the moment she betrayed me.
Daniel, how lovely to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Thank you for having us here at Pinewood in this remarkable set. Whereabouts are we meant to be? Where will this be in the movie?
We're supposed to be in Bolivia, and we filmed the exterior of this hotel, which actually exists up in Chile, in the mountains of Chile, about 10,000 feet at the European Space Observatory up there. And it doesn't quite look like this inside, but it sort of has this feel to it, and we're going to blow it up.
You mentioned Peru you've been to, you mentioned Bolivia here, of course. You've travelled all over for this one, as they always do with the Bond movies. Do you actually get to see the places? Can you go out and visit these places? Is it fun for you, or is it the...
It depends. I've got to force myself out. If I stay indoors... I mean, the problem is that obviously we're filming all the time, so there's not an awful lot of time, but I have to get out and see things. So at the weekends, I kind of make the time just to go and look at things. Otherwise, things pass you by.
And do you have a yashmak or something you can put on, or perhaps a mask?
Yes.
It is a yashmak?
It is a yashmak, yeah.
So even so, though, those
sky blue,
those gimlet blue eyes will give you away, Mr. Craig.
Gimlet blue?
Well, I don't know what that means.
That's good, though.
I think I'm flirting with you.
Again.
Last time we were speaking, and it was the build-up to the first Bond movie, and of course there was the speculation about, will he make a good Bond, will the film be a success, and so on and so forth. And of course, there's no doubt anymore. But I imagine there's a different kind of pressure now.
The success of the last one was extraordinary, and obviously a huge relief for everybody, including me. But that means now we're sort of stuffed because we have to do better. But that's what this whole process has been about.
The Treasury has agreed to stake you in the game. But if you lose, our government will have directly financed terrorism. I will be keeping my eye on our government's money and off your perfectly formed house.
You noticed.
I floated the concept of Thunder Pussy as a title. Haven't heard back yet.
Are you floating it to me now?
Yeah. Look, for the next one.
I'm happy to go with that suggestion. I mean, it just might not be my choice.
Imagine the casting.
Yeah. So Quantum of Solace to Thunder Pussy.
Well, maybe keep Quantum of Solace, and the next one could be Thunder Pussy.
Sort of, AKA.
Make for a great song, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's very exciting for us to be seeing the new Bond movie, of course, and it's a great cast around you.
Yeah.
I'm very keen to see the actor who's playing your main nemesis in this film, of course, who already has, made quite a name for himself. His last movie was exceptional.
He's just an amazing actor. And he has something about him that you could say is classically a Bond villain. He's got an evil energy. What can I tell you? And he does it, and he's using it, and he's playing it to the hilt.
Do you think that evil energy is just because he's French?
I couldn't possibly be drawn on that.
I'm going to stick my neck out.
All right, then go on.
Say it helps.
He'd agree, I think.
Well, good. I'm pleased to hear that. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Yeah. What do you do when you're hanging around the film set? Obviously, you're the centre of this movie. You're the lead role. But at the same time, there must be a lot of time when you're not required and you're still here. How do you feel that time?
Coming to talk to you.
Apart from the fun things.
Yeah. It's really boring stuff. I've got kind of paperwork to do, or the equivalent of paperwork to do. I know it sounds really kind of, and then then I have kind of meetings and sort of telephone conversations to have. And if I'm not doing that, I'm lying flat.
In the last Bond movie, you kind of took him back to his roots a bit. There was that fabulous pre-title black and white sequence, and you really got a feeling of, you know, the beginning, of course, and we saw different aspects of him. Are there different aspects of Bond's character that you're going to be bringing out this time that are in the script or that you hope to achieve?
I mean, yes, the answer is yes, but I'm not in any deliberate way. I'm not trying to bring out his sort of softer side. I'm just, the situations that he's put into, I'm trying to react to as sort of like as real as possible, but also as Bond-like as possible, because we've now got to move things on a bit.
Obviously, like me, and I know this is noted on a regular basis, you're fabulously very fit and respected for your physique. Do you have a date penciled in for when filming finishes where you can just relax and pig out?
Problem is we've just been in Italy for 2 weeks, and I think I've eaten pasta and bread and pasta and bread.
You are
every
looking
day.
a bit porky.
I am feeling a bit porky at the moment. So, but I think that for my own sanity, that's got to be. You got to have some. It's got to be, you know, some cigars, a lot of red wine, a lot of.
Does Bond smoke anymore?
No, nobody does.
You have any regrets about signing on to do Bond?
No. Not at all. I mean, how could you? I mean, there's obviously there's things to come. There's maybe whatever, but that's down the road, and who cares?
It's heartening to hear that.
Yeah, I've got to get on with it. I mean, it's you know what, and I'm completely realistic about it. Of course, there'll be someone else playing it one day, and hopefully better than I ever could, because that's the way it should be. So. But I'm just enjoying it for now and make it the best I can.
And when's the next one?
6 months after this one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's say the next one can all be set in South London.
That would be nice.
It's more like the Swede.
Was it near you? Oh, I don't know you were South London.
Dare you?
I love that.
Of all the things you've ever said, how dare you? You know, you can really go off people. I used to think you were quite a good
I'm
Bond.
warming to you, that's the thing.
Now I'm finding the blonde hair a problem I never did before. Daniel, always a pleasure, never a chore. Thank you so much. Good luck with the movie. Not that you need it.
Nice to see you.
Great to see you.
Right.
Dominic Green's going to suck this place dry, and then he's going to move on, and you're going to be left picking up the broken crockery.
What can I tell you? There's no such thing as a free lunch.
Well, you see, Felix, I don't think you're half as cynical as you make out to be.
You don't know me.
Why? Just because you didn't come alone? How long have I got?
30 seconds.
Well, that doesn't give us a lot of time, does it?
Medrano can't move until he pays off the army and the police chief. Green's bringing him his money now. A hotel called the Perla de las Dunas in the desert.
Thank you, Felix.
Rest assured that Quantum of Solace will be everywhere from Friday. Next week, I'll be reviewing Oliver Stone's take on the life and career of the 43rd President of the United States in W, and a remake of Noel Coward's Easy Virtue, a mere 80 years after Alfred Hitchcock first put it on the screen. Until then, goodbye and thanks for watching. And if, like me, you're already experiencing some Bond withdrawal symptoms, I leave you with a little something to ease your pain.